Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's June 3rd, 2021. It's been quite a whirlwind last couple days down here at the U, and Gary Ferman, Matt Shodell here to tell you a little bit about it and talk a little bit about what you're finding this morning at CaneSport.com. So, Matt, yesterday was day 2 of the first day cookout at the U. They had a day 1 and a day 2. They didn't change the signage. I thought that was kind of humorous. You know, maybe they should have had this called the second day. Well, no. Well, they called the first day, which is fine. They might have wanted
it's the first
to call
day for the 2023 kids, so it's the second first day.
Yeah, well, whatever. But who cares what they called it? And any way you want to slice it and dice it, it was a great 2 days for the University of Miami football program, and really a great job by the coaches. I thought pretty much every top prospect in the next few classes, going all the way really to 2024, visited Miami over about a 24-hour span. They didn't get a hard sell from the coaches. We'll talk about that a little bit here in a minute. It was more of a soft sell. This is what we've got. This is our family atmosphere. We've got these beautiful dorms for you to live in, all these amenities. The kids are close. They have a lot of fun. We saw a lot of football players rushing up and down streets on motorized scooters and things like that, which I thought was kind of cool, a new little twist on campus. But, not like, oh, geez, we need you to commit right now. We got to have you, those kind of hard sell pitches. It was more a soft sell. And Matt, when we talked to all of these kids, and we talked to pretty much every single one of them as they were leaving, Miami's approach seemed to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's June 1st and June 2nd. I mean, there's 2 visit dates. Generally, I don't think Miami expected these kids to be committing on the spot. And I think through the years, these coaches and the Miami program have seen that kids that commit early don't necessarily stick. So why try to talk a kid into committing early just so you could say he committed when he's tying up a spot and may not stick? I mean, they're better off taking the slow approach and let a kid come to them and say, listen, I love the program. I love you guys. I'm committing. Versus them saying, will you commit? Will you commit? And hounding them into finally saying, sure, I'll commit, because they're kids. They're very impressionable. So it's good to see they've learned their lessons of the past, so to speak. It's not Manny Diaz's lessons. It's the lessons of past coaches at Miami. And they're really taking that to heart, because it's always sort of bothered me that they've just tried so hard just to fill up their commitment list in the past. And sometimes not even with good players, just to get commitments. Yeah. And it's a much different approach. I think it's the right approach, and especially since they don't need a ton of commitments in this class. I mean, with the extra year of eligibility, it's not as important to get quantity versus quality. And yeah, I mean, Mark Fletcher in particular stands out because, when he was talking to us, he was like, it was great. They never asked me once about committing. The players weren't even asking me. I just got to have fun. It was perfect. So, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if it pays off. Look, you don't know until the end if this kind of approach works. Generally, I don't think it actually would matter. Kids either going to love your program or not. You're either going to win games and get kids, or lose games and kids might be, shying away. I think wins are more important than the approach of trying to get kids to commit or not. But certainly it doesn't hurt having this kind of approach. I think it's the right approach.
Yeah, I mean, right now for these kids, think about it. They've been cooped up for 15 months with COVID, and right now they just want to have a good time. And they're going to be going from school to school. I thought the good news of these last couple of days was that Miami coaches were able to get everybody on campus for the barbecues, and with very few exceptions, they accomplished that. And I thought that was a big deal because a lot of schools out there are trying to get these kids to come to them first too. So I thought that was a great accomplishment on their part. You might want to say, if you're a purist, but they didn't get any commitments. No, they didn't. It didn't seem to us like they were really close with any of these big time kids to getting commitments. That these kids still have a lot left to go do. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're in the thick of the battle, and a lot of these kids are going to places like Georgia, Alabama. There's a long way to go yet in recruiting, so I don't think it was about commitments this weekend. I mean, this week rather.
Yeah, I mean, we already sort of touched on it, but yeah, I mean, they weren't pushing for it. I don't think, maybe there's a couple of kids we thought maybe, but it appears not. I'm starting to think that maybe there won't be an avalanche of commitments for Miami in June. It's just like every kid that it seems like they really want. They want to visit the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the LSUs, go through the whole process. Not a great situation for Miami. You want to have top kids that are just honed in. I love Miami. I grew up a Miami fan. I'm from Miami. I'm going to Miami. So it's not a great sign, because you really don't want these kids taking all these visits to other top programs. It makes it a lot more difficult, and there's a lot of more unknowns, to the fact that if Miami's planning on getting a bunch of these kids in the class, well, what if they don't come? Who's their plan B and plan C? Now you're scrambling for guys that have probably been recruited by lower level schools for a long time. And lower level, I'm talking about, not necessarily, I'm still talking about Power 5 schools, just not top 10, top 15, top 20 programs. So, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I think Miami did put their best foot forward these first couple of days, but we're not going to know probably for at least 2 or 3 months where a lot of these guys are going at the earliest. Some of them may stretch this out until signing day. So it's going to be really interesting.
All right, so NCAA rules dictate that we couldn't really be in the middle of the barbecue. We had to watch from a distance across the street. But one of the things that I found interesting was getting a chance to watch some of the new coaches work. Guys like Coach Aristide, T-Rob, and David Cooney from the recruiting office, and those guys. Coach Justice with the O-lineman. And we were able to just see the chemistry and how they were interacting with some of the kids. And I was very impressed with that. It was nice to, finally see, the legend of T-Rob that we've heard about for so many years and in actual work, so to speak. And he clearly is going to make an impact at Miami as long as he's here in recruiting. He does a great job with the kids. But so tons of coverage on the website now from the last couple days. If you haven't had a chance to watch all of the entrance and exit videos that we put up, we strongly recommend you do so. It'll give you a great picture of where recruiting is right now, and enough to keep you busy there for quite some time. We've also got some good stories with some of the kids on the website, and we'll be emptying the notebooks here over the next couple days with tons of more material and stories and reactions and things along those lines. And then as we head into the weekend, you've got official visitors coming. We'll preview those on Friday. And then, of course, we'll have coverage of those official visits going into the weekend. And then Sunday, there's a 7-on-7 tournament and an offensive line, defensive line camp at the U that we'll obviously be covering very in-depthly. So all kinds of stuff coming up here at CaneSport.com to keep you guys informed and entertained. So with that, Matt, any closing thoughts from the last couple of days?
I mean, no, just they put their best foot forward. I was very happy with how Miami coaches dealt with that. It was great.
All right, so that'll wrap it up for this edition of Good Morning CaneSport. We hope you've enjoyed all the coverage, and we'll see what today brings. And we'll have our next Good Morning CaneSport feature on the site tomorrow. Until then, we'll say goodbye, everybody.